Hello and welcome to Productivity for Solopreneurs, where each Wednesday at 1 p.m. Central Time, I share insights to getting things done in your business. So today is live number 121. Yes, we are into 121 now. And today's topic is what to do when you don't feel like setting goals. So before we get into that, let me know that you're here. Say hello. Whether you're here live or you're watching later, say hello in the comments. I'd love to say hi back to you. And for those of you who maybe don't really know me very well, my name is Evie Burke, and I help women entrepreneurs take their business to the next level, or take their productivity to the next level too. And I help them into the distraction in their business so they can really increase their profitability and do more of the things that they like doing, and the stuff that they don't like doing, can have some strategies around those things and increasing their profitability. So again, today's topic is what to do when you don't feel like setting goals. And my question for you is, have you ever had that period in your business? Have you ever had a time, however short or however small, where you didn't have any goals and you were just kind of feeling like, I'm trying to figure out what works and what doesn't work, and that you would set your goals when you had some more information or more data about what was working for you? I know I've done it. I know I've seen some of my clients go through these periods, and it can come from lots of different places. Sometimes it can come from having too many weeks or months of not meeting the goals that you're setting for yourself. Sometimes, and that can be because you're not really feeling that sense of completion. When you set a goal and you reach it, you get a sense of completion. And it's a great feeling when you set a goal and you meet it and you're like, hey, yeah, I got that thing done. And that sense of completion can really be important when you are a business owner. I mean, it's important anyway, but especially with helping you stay motivated, having that sense of completion can be really important. So, not wanting to set goals can come from that. Not wanting to set goals can also come from not being sure, like, what is a goal that you can set that is achievable. A lot of times that happens because, maybe we don't have some direction. We kind of know where we want our business to go, maybe in a year or 2 years, but we're just not sure, like, what needs to happen right now? What are the goals that I need to have right now? And what are the things I need to do right now so that I'm moving myself closer to whatever my business looks like in whatever I want my business to look like in a year or two. And sometimes what can happen is we see those goals, we see those dreams for a year or two, and we just don't feel like we can do them. And that can make working toward those goals now feel, the word that's coming up is like a fool's errand, right? Where you don't think it's going to work, and so part of you is like, why should I spend time doing this? So one of the things that can happen when we find ourselves in that period of time where we don't have goals, for whatever the reason is, what can happen is we can feel like maybe I'm not meant to have a business. Maybe this isn't something that I should be doing. Maybe I should go and find a job. And if you legitimately need money coming in and need to get a job so you have some money coming in, there is no shame there. I worked at Target for almost 2 years because my business wasn't bringing in the money I needed and we had bills to pay. So if you need to go and get a job, go and get a job. Like, that's fine. But these things don't mean that you are not cut out for having a business. What it does mean is maybe you just haven't figured out how to have a business in a way that works for you. And it might mean that you need to tweak a couple of things, right? It probably means you need to tweak a couple things. So I just want to go over just a few things that you might want to think about, a few things that you can look at to figure out what needs to change so that you can move out of that space of not having goals and really start having goals that you are excited about, things that really drive you to do the work of the day versus sitting back and feeling like everything is just so hard and I'm not sure why I'm doing this. Okay. So, you might want to look at evaluating the things that you're doing and noticing what's working and what's not working and what could be working better. So, a lot of times when we're not setting goals or we're feeling a little down on ourselves, we are just noticing what's not working and then we stop, right? It's just like, oh, this isn't working, and we don't look at how could I make this work better, or we're also not noticing what is working right now. And notice those things. Just notice, okay, what is it that is actually working? What is going well in my business right now? What could be working better? So what's maybe not going great, but there's maybe a tweak or two that I could be doing better. And then what are the things that aren't working at all? Okay, so just notice those things. Sometimes that's enough to get you moving forward on them. Sometimes you might need to talk to somebody else to help you figure out like what to do with those things. Another thing you might want to tweak or you might want to do is notice the things that are on your do later list that you really want to be doing now. So sometimes there are things that we're like, oh, I need to do that later, but they would really like light us up if you could do them now. So maybe it's time to look at that later list and think about, you know what, I'm going to focus on this thing now because that idea, that thought, that lights me up. And so I want to move forward with that. So look at for those things that are on your later list or what those things are that light you up, that will help move you toward setting goals and feeling excited about your business again. And then another thing is noticing the things that you're not doing because they are outside your comfort zone. So sometimes phone calls is a huge one for a lot of people, right? That phone, it's small, oops, but it can feel so heavy, right? So noticing what, things like that you're stopping yourself, and just when you have a goal that you know that you can tie, okay, making that phone call will help me meet that goal to it, it can make picking up that phone a little bit easier. And you need to have a goal for why you're doing that though. And it doesn't have to be directly tied to, oh, I'm going to make a phone call and I'm going to get a client. It might just be building relationships, right? Building connections, making sure that the people that you're meeting networking, that you know who they are and that they know who you are. And you can have that connection with them. So even though they're not buying anything from you, maybe they will later, or more likely when they're talking to somebody else and your name comes up, they're like, oh yeah, I know her, she was, I had a one-on-one with her, she was great, you should totally think about XYZ. I do want to like caveat this though, because sometimes when we go into picking up the phone or having those conversations with that side goal as our primary purpose, it can change the energy of the conversation. So go into the conversation with clear energy, notice what you're hoping to get out of it, and then release that, right? Just say, I know that I'm hoping that this connection will at some point result in clients, and I'm going to release that right now. Instead, I'm going to focus on getting to know this person, getting to know their business, and what connection we can make with each other. Okay. Another thing you might want to do when you find yourself in this place where you don't have a goal or you don't feel like setting a goal is set a super doable goal for yourself so that you can feel that very important and confidence building sense of completion. So maybe it's a monetary intention or goal that you know that you will be able to hit with about 95% certainty, right? Maybe you do that for a month. Or maybe you decide, I am going to call 20 people. And that's picking up the phone and dialing. That doesn't necessarily mean you are talking to 25 people, but I'm going to dial five people a week, and leave a voicemail about setting up a time to chat with them on the phone and get to know them better, or go out to coffee with them, or whatever it looks like for you. Just something that feels very doable. Maybe it stretches your comfort zone a little bit, with the phone calls. Maybe it doesn't, but just something so that you can start having some sense of, hey, I did this, I completed this, versus always feeling like you're just coming short a little bit. And that doesn't mean you shouldn't set big goals. It just means that when you're at a spot where you don't want to set goals, where you're not feeling excited about your business, that you're setting goals that can help move you toward being passionate about your business again, and excited about it, and having that confidence again. All right. And then notice any patterns around where you tend to stop moving forward. So do you plan things out and then you plan them out some more? I have been guilty of that. I love planning. Do you plan things out and start executing and then always get to that one step in that plan, and then that tends to be where you stop? And maybe look at, why is that? Is it outside of your comfort zone? Did you run out of oomph? Did you not have enough detail about what needed to be done there? Sometimes what I will tell my clients when we're planning is write out the next 3 steps. Like, okay, here's the goal. What are the next 3 steps to get there? And then your 4th step is write down the next 3 steps, right? Because then that's leaving you a 4th doable item to come up with 3 more items, but it's not just your brain looking at it going, I don't know what to do next. Like, you're giving yourself a doable task, right? So again, notice though where you tend to stop. Is it in the idea phase? Do you stop before you even get to planning? Like, where is it that you're holding yourself up? Just so you have that information. And then another thing to do is look at the goals or the intentions that you're not meeting, and ask yourself, what information, what skills, or what connections do you need so that you can more easily meet that goal? Because, and again, this is something I tell the members of the Next Level Business Mastermind group, is sometimes it's really hard to get the answers that you're looking for if you haven't formed the question. So if you realize that, okay, I'm having problems reaching XYZ goal, and having this skill would really help me reach that goal, then you know what to start asking about. Then if you have a mastermind, what to go in and say, hey, I need to build this skill. Does anybody have any suggestions or resources around it? Or I need to learn this thing, or know how to do XYZ. Does anybody have, again, anything that they can, any suggestions around this? And also asking for connections, right? So maybe you go into a networking group, and instead of doing your normal spiel, maybe you go into your networking group and you say, I am looking for somebody who can help me with this, or I am looking for connections to these type of people so that I can be in front of the people I want to be in front of, or whatever it is, right? If you know the resource or the person, or just the question that you need answered, when you know that question, then you can more easily get the answer to it, versus sitting in your office and going, oh, well, I'm not meeting this goal, and maybe it's just not meant to be. Maybe you need a resource, maybe you need some help, and that's okay. Figure that out and ask for what you need. Okay. So if you are feeling frustrated, or when you're feeling frustrated, overwhelmed, or like things just aren't working out for you in the way that you want them to, give yourself some grace. Acknowledge that you're just not feeling it, and get curious about what's going on. Like, where can you use those things I talked about, and what ones will work for you. Okay. And sometimes having someone else to talk this through with can be really helpful, whether that's a business bestie, whether that is somebody you just met at a networking event and you just clicked with them and you say, you know what, I would just really appreciate it if we could hop on a call and I could just talk to you for a little bit. Whoever that looks like for you, reach out to them, connect with them. Maybe you have a spouse that is super understanding and you can reach out to them. Um, I tend not to talk to my spouse about these types of things, not because he's not supportive, but because he does not have a business. And while he is a good shoulder to cry on, sometimes it's more helpful for me to talk with somebody who has a business and can understand and can listen. And if I'm in a spot to hear advice, then or suggestions that can offer some advice from a place where they get it, versus a husband who loves me dearly, but doesn't have that kind of experience, right? So if this is something that you are experiencing right now, reach out, let's talk. So the easiest way to do that is either to leave a comment and letting me know that you want to chat, or to head over to my website and fill out the contact me page, and we can get something scheduled that way. And it's not a sales talk, just let me know what you're looking for, and we can just have a conversation, where you can get some of the support that you need. All right. So until next week, much love.